Hey everyone, so I am about to share something a little personal to me, but I have been wanting to share this for the last probably couple of years, and I've been sharing it with like friends, and I found a couple of people who have had the same condition, and so we talked about it. But upon learning more about it, I felt like by not sharing my experience, that I was being selfish, and I'll explain why in a little bit. So I have something called cervical dysplasia, and it's super common. It's found by just a pap smear. When your pap comes back abnormal, it could mean a whole bunch of things. It could be something as simple as, a minor infection or bacteria or anything like that, but it could also mean that you have this condition. So that's why, definitely get checked every year or however much times your doctor recommends. So cervical dysplasia means that your cells are abnormal and they're replicating. And I'm not like, a doctor or anything. This is just my understanding of it. But as they divide, they're dividing like abnormally. So they could have the potential to spread. This could potentially turn into cervical cancer. But the good thing I've learned about cervical cancer is that it does take a while to form. It does take a while to really get bad. So cervical dysplasia may never turn into cancer, or it may, but years down the line. So that was kind of my understanding of it. So in 2007, it's 2013 now. In 2007, I found out that I had it. And then they did something called a colposcopy, which is they kind of put this acidic solution on your cervix and it highlights all the abnormal areas. So then after they do that, they use this like a microscope basically called a colposcopy. Yeah, I think that's the correct term for it. And they look at your cervix, and if they feel that they want to take a biopsy, they do. I've had probably more than 20 biopsies done, and I can tell you, if you are someone that are watching this video and you just made an appointment for your first biopsy, or you are nervous about it, it really is not bad. And there are so many horror stories online of just people that have said it was the worst feeling in the world, equated it to childbirth. And for me, like, it wasn't that bad. It was like more, the best way I can describe it, it was like a weird feeling. It was just, you felt, just this minor pressure in that area, and then you kind of felt almost like a suction feeling. And I don't know if anyone else felt that, but my first biopsy, it was the most painful, but it wasn't unbearable. It definitely wasn't. And, I'm not like this super, I don't feel pain type person, but the best thing is just relax, deep breathe, just try to put your mind somewhere else when it's happening. I know it's hard, but yeah, so I had, a bunch of biopsies, and in 2008 they wanted to do a LEEP. So a LEEP is a surgical procedure. It's usually done in office, but there are, doctors that rather do it in a hospital setting. So what they do, it's like an electric loop that kind of, I don't know if burn is the right word to use. I'm not sure if I'm correct with that, but it kind of burns off a layer of your cervix. And a lot of doctors do try to be less invasive, as possible. They won't take a whole bunch, but they want to take enough so that it doesn't come back. So I had that done in 2008. I did it without doing any research on it. And then afterwards, I found out that it's not the best thing for people who know they want to have kids. Having one, I know I'm still going to be able to have kids, but, if you have a whole bunch of them, it's not the best thing. And I'll probably talk about that in another video, because I'm really excited to kind of share my journey. So I had that done, and I had one normal pap smear, and I was like, it was Memorial Day weekend of 2009, and I was like so happy. I was like, this is it. I don't have to deal with this ever again. And then the next pap, it was back back to where it was. I mean, it wasn't as bad, but it started off as ascus, which is kind of the least abnormal you can be. And then throughout the years, it just kept going and going and going. So in my head, I was like, why did I get the LEEP? Like, you know, that was just, you know, in my head, I was like a waste of time. And so I was pretty frustrated as I saw that it was getting worse, and I was getting more colposcopies and spending more money and just watching it progress to the bad side. So after it got to high-grade dysplasia again, which took probably like 3 years, so, you know, it did take time, but you have to go, you know, every 6 months and get these things done, and they wanted to do a LEEP again, and I said no. I said, I don't want to do it. Let's try something else. So what they did was something called cryotherapy, which they pretty much put like a frozen ball almost on your cervix, and it's almost like giving your cervix like frostbite, and it kind of takes the first layer off of your cervix. And I had that done May before my wedding, and then they wanted to retest me like a week before my wedding, and I was like, heck no, I'm not doing that. Like, you know, if it's bad, it's gonna ruin my wedding. So I decided to, you know, do the whole wedding honeymoon, came back, got the test results, and nothing changed. It was pretty much like I didn't even have cryo. I know that cryo does work for some people, but for some reason mine was just very persistent with these procedures. So he said, okay, you know, we have to do a LEEP. And I was like, I don't know, I'm 27 years old. I feel like, you know, kids are not in the far future, and I need to start preparing my body, and I need to start taking more action and just, you know, taking more control of my body with my children in mind. So I did a whole bunch of research. I Googled things, I looked at blogs, I looked at everything in the area that was, you know, possible, and I kept coming across this word escharotic, and I didn't know, like, I didn't even know how to pronounce it, and I didn't know what it was, and if it worked, or if it was like, you know, completely something out there that I didn't believe in. And so I kept Googling escharotic and cervical dysplasia, and I kept coming across success stories and people who were turning this entire condition around, and that were, you know, completely impressing themselves and their doctors. And, you know, it's done usually by a naturopath doctor. I think there are, you know, maybe some conventional gynos that do it. So I decided to go to a university in Connecticut, University of Bridgeport, and I met with them, and I was so excited that they actually offer the escharotic treatments. So if you have, you know, the money to do, you know, any naturopath in your area, you know, that's great. They, you know, they might run like maybe $100 to $200 per session, but for me, I didn't have that money, but I didn't want to just cross it off my list because I didn't have the money, so I was like, there has to be a way. But if there's a university in your area, or if you're close to University of Bridgeport, it's like $30, and then that's it. Like, so it was really cool, and I'll actually do a video of my experience so far. I've had a couple of them done, and I just feel so good about it. And I just wanted to start this video by kind of sharing where I was, and then the videos that will follow will be, you know, my experience and my vitamin regimen, and you know, kind of what I'm eating and how I'm feeling and the whole process. I really am so excited to share this with you guys, because I know how scary it is to think that you know, have something that might be cervical cancer, or that you might not be able to have kids, or, you know, what if the word hysterectomy pops into your mind? Like, that definitely popped into my mind, and it's so scary. And I looked on YouTube, and there was like nothing. So I'm really, really excited to kind of just serve as that person that can share their story, and I hope that you guys can learn from my story.